The rain started in the late evening. The sky was dark, and the street lamps were soft and yellow. The wind pushed water across the road like thin sheets of glass. Cars moved slow, buses splashed, and shop signs shook in the wet air. She walked home with a small umbrella. Her shoes were old, but she stepped with care. She had a cloth bag on her shoulder with bread and tea. Her jacket was light, and the rain touched her sleeves. She did not complain. She liked quiet nights. She liked to listen to the rain. It made the city sound gentle. When she reached the bus stop, she saw him. He stood under the thin roof, his jacket soaked, a soldier tall and calm with kind eyes. Water ran down his cheeks and neck. His travel bag was heavy and dark with rain. He checked his phone, then lowered it. The screen was dim. The battery was low. She slowed down. She wanted to help, but she was shy. He looked tired. He looked like he had carried weight all day. Not only the bag, but also many thoughts. She felt it in the way he stood. Still quiet, careful. "Are you okay?" she asked in a soft voice. Her words were simple and warm. He looked up and gave a small smile. "I am fine," he said. His voice was gentle and steady, but his hands shook a little in the cold. She stepped closer to share the umbrella. The rain hit the roof of the bus stop hard. The wind pushed water into the open side. He moved back to give her space. She did not want him to stand in the wet wind. She opened her bag. "I have hot tea," she said. "It is simple tea, but warm." He hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you," he said. She poured the tea into a small cup and held it out. He took it with both hands. Steam rose to his face. He closed his eyes for a moment and breathed in the heat. The rain grew heavier. The road turned shiny and dark. A bus rushed by without stopping. Water splashed across the sidewalk. They stepped back together. She laughed a little. He smiled again, and the worry left his face for 1 second. "My name is Aisha," she said. She did not know why she told him. Maybe the rain made people honest. Maybe kindness opened doors. He nodded. "I am David," he said. He looked at the empty road. "I am new here," he added. "I just came back from duty." Aisha listened. She did not ask big questions. She did not ask where he served or what he saw. She knew some things are heavy and private, she only said, "Welcome." The word was small but full of respect. He looked grateful. "Thank you," he said again. A cold wind passed through their clothes. She noticed his bag. It was soaked. "Your bag will be ruined," she said. He nodded. "I have a change of clothes," he said, "but I need a safe place first." Aisha checked her phone. Her battery was strong. "Do you have a ride?" she asked. He showed his phone. "Almost dead," he said. "The bus is late," she thought quickly. "I can call a taxi for you," she offered. "A safe company, good drivers, clear price." He looked unsure. "I do not want to trouble you," he said. "It is no trouble," she answered. "It is simple to help." He lowered his head. He accepted the kindness. "Okay," he said. "Thank you." Aisha called the taxi number. The rain made a soft drum sound over their heads. She gave the pickup point. She asked for a car with space for a heavy bag. She asked the driver to stop close to the covered area. She spoke politely. She always did. Polite words make hard nights easier. When she ended the call, she poured more tea. He took a small sip and breathed easy. "Today was long," he said. His eyes looked far. Many forms, many lines, many goodbyes. Aisha nodded. "I understand," she said in a quiet tone. "Sometimes a day is heavy." He looked at her umbrella. It was small and old. "You are also wet," he said. Aisha laughed a little. "It is only water," she replied. "Tomorrow, the sun will come." They stood in silence for a moment. A delivery bike rushed past. A shop across the street turned off its lights. The world felt smaller, calmer, like the rain made a circle around them. A small island of light under the bus stop roof. Aisha opened her cloth bag. She took out a clean scarf. "Please," she said. "It is warm." He tried to refuse. She shook her head. "It is clean and dry." He accepted it. He wrapped it around his neck. The scarf held the heat from the tea. His shoulders relaxed. A bus finally came. It was full. People stood in the aisle. The driver shook his head and did not open the door. The bus moved on. Aisha looked at David. "Taxi will be better," she said. "Dry seat, quiet ride." He smiled again. The smile was thankful, not loud. He seemed like a man who spoke more with the eyes than with big words. A flash of lightning cut across the clouds. The thunder followed, deep and close. The ground felt like it shook a little. David lifted his phone to check the time. The screen flickered, then it went black. Dead, he said with a small sigh. Aisha took a pen and a tiny paper from her bag. She wrote her name and number in clear letters. Here, she said. In case you need directions tomorrow. He looked touched. He put the paper in a safe pocket in his jacket. I will return your kindness, he said. You owe me nothing, she replied. Safe travel is enough. Another thunder rolled over the buildings. The lights on the street blinked once. The rain became a hard silver wall. They both stepped closer to the dry part of the roof. At the edge of the bus stop, water gathered like a small river. Aisha checked the time again. The taxi should be close, she said. She pointed at the far end of the road. Headlights turned into the street, slow and careful. The car sign glowed faint and blue through the rain. David lifted his bag and stood ready. He looked down. Something small and metal lay near the drain. Aisha bent and picked it up. It was a badge. Thin and bright, even in low light. She wiped it with her sleeve. A name and unit number were engraved on it. She looked at him, surprised. Is this yours? She asked before he could answer. A strong gust of wind hit the stop. The umbrella flipped inside out. Rain swept across their faces. The taxi pulled up and honked once. David reached for the badge with careful hands. But the wind pushed again. The badge slipped from Aisha's fingers. It slid across the wet concrete. It spun once at the edge of the drain, and then the street went dark. Every lamp on the block blinked out at the same time. The sound of the rain grew louder. Aisha could not see the badge anymore. She froze for one breath. David took one step forward into the sudden black. The night held its breath with them, and someone knocked behind them, a firm, clear knock from the small door of the closed kiosk beside the bus stop. In the dark rain, the knock came again. Steady and close. Who was there and why now in this storm? The rain was strong, the street was dark. Aisha and David stood under the thin roof. The taxi waited with warm lights. The knock came again from the small kiosk door. Firm, steady, close. Aisha turned. Hello? She called. Her voice was calm but careful. The door opened a little. A kind face looked out. It was the night watchman for the shops. He held a small flashlight. I heard you, he said. The power is out. Do you need help? Aisha pointed to the ground. A badge fell here, she said. It is small and metal. The watchman nodded and shined the light. They looked near the drain. They checked the wet line of concrete. Water moved like a tiny river, but the badge was not there. Maybe the water pushed it, the watchman said. He bent down and searched the edges. David stepped into the rain for a moment. He moved his hand over the ground. Cold water ran over his fingers. No badge. Only leaves and a plastic wrapper. A bus roared by, water jumped from its wheels. The taxi driver leaned from his window. No rush, he said kindly. I will wait. Aisha looked at David's face. He was calm, but his eyes were worried. It was important? She asked. Yes, he said softly. It has my name and unit number. He did not explain more. She did not force him to speak. She only nodded. We will try again, she said. The watchman checked farther away. He moved the light slowly. He did not hurry. He was patient, still nothing. The rain grew colder. The wind grew stronger. Aisha put the empty teacup back in her bag. She knew they should not stay long. She looked at the watchman. Thank you for helping, she said. We should go now. The watchman raised his light to their faces. He smiled. Come back in the morning, he said. When the light is strong, we will look again. He pointed to a small lip near the drain. Things sometimes stop here, he said. They do not always fall inside. Aisha felt a little hope. Thank you, she said again. The watchman closed the door gently. The taxi lights warmed the rain. David lifted his bag. It was heavy and wet. Aisha opened the taxi's back door. Please sit, she said. Put the bag on the floor mat. He did. He turned back to her with a grateful look. You helped me in the rain, he said. Thank you for the tea and the call. You are welcome, she answered. It is simple to help. She looked at the driver. Station Road, Maple Building, right? She asked David. Yes, he said, Maple Building. The driver nodded. Seatbelts, please, he said. They clicked the belts. The taxi moved slow and safe into the wet street. Inside the car, the sound of rain was softer. The windows fogged a little. The driver turned on the fan. The city slid by. Shadows of trees, closed shops, a late train horn in the distance. Aisha looked at David's scarf. It was still warm around his neck. "Will you be okay when you arrive?" she asked. "I will," he said. "I have a room for tonight." He paused. "I will check the bus stop in the morning for the badge." Aisha nodded. "I can go also," she said. "My work starts late tomorrow." He looked surprised. "You would do that?" He asked. "Yes," she said. "It is near my way." She smiled a little. "Also, I am good at finding small things." He smiled too. The worry in his eyes softened. "Then thank you," he said. "You are very kind," she shook her head. "I am only a simple woman," she said. "Kindness is not heavy. We can carry it." The taxi stopped at a red light. Rain made little stars on the glass. Aisha thought of the short moment under the bus stop roof. The tea, the scarf, the badge. She felt the night hold a quiet meaning. Small act, small steps. Still, they mattered. The light turned green. They reached Maple Building. The driver parked close to the front awning. It kept the door dry. David unbuckled his belt. He lifted his bag and opened the door. He stepped out into a thin curtain of rain. Aisha got out too, only for a second. She did not want to leave him with a quick goodbye. They stood under the awning. The building guard waved from inside the glass door. David reached into his jacket. He took the small paper with her number. He showed it to her with a calm smile. "I will send a message tomorrow," he said. "If we find the badge, I will tell you," Aisha nodded. "If I find it first, I will keep it safe," she said. They shared a small laugh. It was the laugh of two people who had faced a storm together. Not a big storm in life, just a night storm. But even a night storm can feel large when you are tired. "Good night," she said. "Good night," he answered. He went inside with his heavy bag. The guard opened the door for him. The warm lobby light touched his wet jacket. Then the door closed gently. Aisha returned to the taxi. The driver looked at her through the mirror. "All good?" he asked. "All good," she said. "Thank you for waiting." "Safe people help each other," he replied. He smiled and drove. They passed the quiet market. They passed the small mosque with soft lamps. They passed the park where rain made silver lines in the grass. At the corner near her street, the taxi stopped. Aisha paid and thanked the driver. She stepped into the rain again. Now it was lighter, like the sky was tired. She walked slowly along the curb. Water ran beside her shoes. A thin beam of light came from a half-open shop shutter. She looked down. She saw something small in the mud by the drain. Bright even in the dull light. Her heart moved fast for 1 second. She knelt and touched it, cool metal. A thin badge with a name and a unit number. The letters were clear under the mud. She cleaned it with the corner of her scarf. The name was his name. The badge was his badge. Aisha stood with care. She looked around. No one was near. The rain sounded like soft hands on the road. She held the badge tight. She felt relief and quiet joy. At home, she dried her umbrella. She made fresh tea. She washed the badge again with gentle soap. She dried it with a soft cloth. It shone under the kitchen light. She found a small box near her door. She placed the badge inside with care. She closed the lid. She set the box on the shelf where she kept safe things. She sat on the edge of her bed. She sent a short message from her phone. "Hello, David, I found something. I will keep it safe. Good night." The message showed sent. She smiled and turned off the lamp. The rain slowed to a quiet whisper. Dawn came pale and gentle. Birds began to speak in soft voices. Aisha washed her face and made tea. She looked at the small box by the door. She planned to return the badge after breakfast. And then, before she could finish her tea, there was a firm knock at her door. One knock, then a second knock, clear and respectful. She stood up slowly and looked at the handle. Who had come so early and why? Morning light touched the window. The rain was slow now. Aisha held the warm cup of tea. She listened to the knock again. Calm and steady, she went to the door and kept the chain on. "Who is there?" she asked. A clear voice answered, "Good morning. We are here to see Aisha. We come about a badge." Aisha opened the door a little. She saw David on the step. His jacket was dry today. Beside him stood a friendly officer in a neat coat. The officer held a folder and a plastic cover. He smiled in a polite way. "We can speak here at the door," Aisha said. "It is fine," the officer replied. "Thank you for your time." Aisha brought the small box from the shelf. She held it with care. "This is the badge," she said. I found it near my street last night. David's eyes became soft with relief. Thank you, he said. His voice was quiet and real. The officer nodded. This badge is important for records, he said. It has the correct name and unit number. Aisha opened the lid and gave the badge to David. He checked the letters. He placed it in the plastic cover. He looked calm again, like a knot had opened. I am grateful, he said. Aisha smiled. It was not hard, she said. I only cleaned it and kept it safe. The officer took a small step forward. He spoke in a gentle tone. I want to share something, he said. Yesterday, we received notes from people in the flood area. Aisha listened with care. They said a quiet man helped families to reach the bus. They said he did not ask for thanks. They said he left before anyone could write his name. David looked down. He did not speak. Aisha did not push him to talk. She kept her voice simple. Good work leaves a soft sound, she said. It is still heard. The officer opened the folder. There was a short letter inside. There is a small event today in the community hall, he said. Only a few neighbors, the head of the ward, and some helpers. It is not big. It is calm and short. We want to say thank you to people who helped during the flood. He looked at David and then at Aisha. We would like you both to come. Aisha felt shy. I am only a simple woman, she said. I just shared an umbrella and tea. The officer smiled kindly. Simple things guide people on hard nights, he said. They also matter. David lifted his eyes. I will go if she comes, he said. His words were plain, but they carried respect. Aisha thought for a moment. She looked at the clean floor, the warm cup, the quiet morning. Then she nodded. All right, she said. I will come. Thank you, the officer said. The event starts at noon. I can arrange a ride. Aisha shook her head with a little smile. We can walk, she said. It is close. Before they left, Aisha took a small paper bag. There is fresh bread, she said to David, and a little tea in a flask. You may need it. David accepted it with care. Your kindness keeps showing, he said. They stepped into the soft daylight. The clouds were thin, the streets were clean with rain. The officer pointed down the road. The hall is by the park, he said. Doors open early. Aisha closed her door and took a light scarf. She felt calm but also new inside. Like a small door had opened in her day, she followed them down the steps. Every puddle was a small mirror of the sky. Birds sang from the wet trees. She held the thought quietly. A simple act can lead to another simple act. They turned the corner toward the park. The officer's phone buzzed. He read a short message and paused. He looked at Aisha with careful eyes. There is one more thing, he said. We got a note about you, too. He took a breath. It says your help last night did more than you know. What does that mean? Aisha asked softly. The officer closed the folder and met her eyes. I think you should hear it at the hall, he said. There is a message waiting for you, Aisha, David. And the officer walked toward the community hall. The clouds were thin. The air was clean. Leaves shone with soft water. Children laughed near the park gate. The hall doors were open. Inside, volunteers moved chairs. A long table held water, bread, and fruit. A small banner said, "Thank you. Helpers." At the entrance, a staff member stopped them. His clipboard was full of names. Performers' line goes left, he said. Volunteers go right. Aisha smiled. We are guests, she said softly. The staff member checked the list. He could not find their names. He looked worried. I'm sorry, he said. Maybe there is a second list. Aisha did not push. She waited with calm eyes. The officer showed his badge and spoke kindly. It is fine, he said. They are here for a simple thanks. The staff member nodded. Please forgive me, he said. Thank you for your patience, Aisha answered with a small smile. It is okay, she said. Big days need time. They went inside. A woman waved from the stage. Her scarf was bright and neat. She pointed to the front row. Please sit, she said. Her voice was warm. David placed his bag near the chair. Aisha set the paper bag with bread beside it. A little confusion rose near the water table. Two volunteers reached for the same tray. Plastic cups spilled on the floor. Water spread like clear glass. Aisha stood and walked over. It is okay, she said. She handed them a cloth from the counter. She knelt and dried the floor with slow hands. The volunteers thanked her. You do not have to help, one said. Aisha smiled. I like to help, she answered. Kindness does not get tired when it is simple. Back at the front row, the officer checked his folder. He placed a small envelope under the chair. For later, he said quietly. David looked at Aisha. You make places feel light, he said. Aisha shook her head. The place is already light, she replied. We only noticed it together. The hall filled with neighbors. A gentle buzz of voices. No loud music, only soft talk. The head of the ward came to the microphone. Today is about steady hands, he said. Hands that held a light. Hands that carried bags. Hands that shared bread. He called a few names, one by one. People stood. They received a small card and a quiet thank you. When the head called David, a soft clap rose and fell like rain on leaves. David stood. His step was calm. He did not speak long. Thank you, he said, for this city and its kind people. He returned to his seat. His eyes were steady. Aisha felt a simple pride for him. Then the head of the ward looked toward Aisha. We have a message for someone, he said. Aisha, please come to the front. A gentle murmur moved across the chairs. Aisha stood. Her hands were warm and careful. She walked to the stage slowly. The scarf lay soft on her shoulder. On the screen behind the stage, a small video window opened. The hall lights dimmed a little. A picture of a family appeared. A woman, an older man, a child holding a toy bus. The woman spoke first. Her voice was calm but full. To the simple woman who helped in the rain, she said, You do not know us, but your care reached us. Aisha's breath paused. She looked at David. He gave a small nod. The child raised the toy bus toward the camera. The older man smiled. The woman continued, We heard about your umbrella, your tea, and your patience. Your kindness helped someone who later helped us. The head of the ward lowered the microphone. The hall was quiet. Only the soft sound of the speaker remained. The video flickered. A second voice joined, calm, clear, familiar. Aisha knew it at once. It was the night watchman from the kiosk, he said. Aisha, there is more you should know. The screen brightened. A new line of text appeared. Message recorded at dawn. The hall waited. Still and kind, Aisha felt the air change. Like a door opening inside a quiet room. The next words were about to tell her something new. Something that could change her next step. The screen showed the night watchman. His small flashlight was on the table beside him. His voice was calm. Aisha, he said. Last night after the lights went out, I checked the street again. I saw you and the soldier share the umbrella. You stayed kind in a hard storm. He lifted a small notebook. I wrote the time, he said, because at that same time, a bus stopped near the market. The driver was unsure. The road was flooded. People stood in the rain with bags and a child's stroller. The picture on the screen changed. It showed the market road in the night. Water like a thin river across the lane. The watchman kept talking. The soldier reached the bus and spoke to the driver. He used his jacket light and hand signs. He guided the bus to the dry edge. He lifted the stroller onto the steps. A small cheer moved through the hall. Soft and warm, the video cut to the family again. The woman said, That was us. The stroller was ours. Our child is safe. Your tea and umbrella helped him stay steady, so he could help us. Aisha pressed her scarf at her chest. Her eyes were wet, but her face was steady. David looked down, then up. He did not take any praise for himself. He only nodded once toward Aisha. The head of the ward returned to the microphone. Kindness makes a road, he said. It lets other kindness travel. He held up a small envelope. For later, he added with a smile. Then a staff member rushed from the side door. His voice was low but urgent. He spoke to the head. The head listened and turned to the audience. There is fresh news, he said. The small shelter near River Lane lost power again. They need dry blankets and a calm person to guide families. The hall was quiet for a breath. Then chairs moved. 2 volunteers stood. I can drive, one said. I can carry supplies, the other added. David stood also. I will help, he said. He looked at Aisha with a question in his eyes, not pushing, only asking. Aisha placed a hand on the paper bag of bread. She felt her heart lift and settle. I will come too, she said. I can keep lists. I can help children feel calm. They moved to the back table. The officer joined them. He opened his folder and took out a map. Road A is slow, he said. Take the park road and then the side lane. He looked at Aisha. Can you check families as they enter? Names, how many blankets they need, any special needs? Yes, Aisha said. I will speak clearly and softly. The volunteers packed blankets, fruit, water, a first aid box. David carried 2 bundles to the door. The driver brought the van around. Rain clouds had returned, thin and gray. The air smelled like wet leaves before Aisha left the hall. The head of the ward held out the small envelope. This is for you, he said. It is not money. It is a note, but an important note. Aisha took it and placed it in her scarf. I will read it after we help, she said. They climbed into the van. The engine started. The wipers moved left and right. Aisha opened a blank page on a small clipboard. Family name, she wrote, number of blankets. Notes. David sat near the back doors with the bundles. He gave a short nod. The driver looked at the mirror. Ready? He asked. Ready, they answered together. As the van turned out, the first drops began to fall again, soft, then steady. The road ahead was clean but uncertain. Aisha held the clipboard and breathed slow. She felt simple and brave at the same time. Just before the van left the park, her phone buzzed in her pocket. One new message, the sender name was unknown. She read the first line. Her eyes widened. The message said, Please come to River Lane quickly. The shelter door will not open, and a child needs calm help now. The van reached River Lane. Rain was steady but soft. The shelter door was stuck. People waited under the narrow roof. Children held small bags. Mothers spoke in low voices. Aisha stepped down first. She smiled and lifted the clipboard. Please stand in one line, she said. Everyone will enter. We will go slow and safe. Her voice was calm. The crowd settled. David checked the door. The wood had swelled from rain. The driver called the caretaker by phone. Use the side latch, the caretaker said. It sticks in wet weather. David and the driver pressed gently. The latch moved. The door opened with a soft sound. Inside, the lights were dark. Only window light and phone lights. A child cried near a bench. Aisha went to the child and knelt. My name is Aisha, she said. Can we breathe together? She tapped the bench 3 times. In, out, in, she said. The child copied her. The crying slowed. Volunteers brought blankets and fruit. David placed blankets by the wall. He made a simple path for walking. Please keep this lane clear, he said. Families first. Then singles. Aisha stood by the doorway. She wrote names on the clipboard. She asked simple questions. How many in your family? Any sick person? Any special need? She spoke softly to an older woman. The woman smiled with relief. Thank you for your clear words, she said. The officer arrived with 2 lanterns. He set them on a table, warm light spread across the room. A small cheer rose, not loud but full of comfort. A young mother came in with a stroller. Her eyes were tired. Aisha looked up. It was the family from the video. The mother recognized David at once. She pressed a hand to her heart. Thank you again, she said. David nodded. We all help, he answered. Aisha offered the child a slice of banana. The child smiled and reached. Rain touched the windows like quiet drums. The room found its rhythm. One table gave water, one table gave bread. One table gave blankets. Aisha kept the list steady. Her writing was neat and clear. An older man stood near the door. He looked lost. Aisha walked to him. Do you need a seat near the window? She asked. Yes, he said. My knee hurts. David brought a chair. The man sat and breathed easier. The officer made a short call. A small generator is coming, he said. It will keep phones charged. It will run 1 heater. People nodded. A little hope filled the air. Hours passed like small steps. The line grew shorter. The room grew warmer. Aisha turned to David. You kept the path clear, she said. That kept us calm. He shook his head. You kept the people calm, he answered. Her phone buzzed. A message from the head of the ward. Return to the hall when you can, it read. Short thanks. One more note for you. Aisha touched the envelope inside her scarf. She had not opened it yet, not while people still needed help. The generator arrived, a low, steady sound. Lantern light mixed with gentle heat. Children drew smiley faces on paper cups. Aisha laughed softly with them. She felt simple and brave again. Near evening, the caretaker said, We can close the intake now. Everyone has a blanket and water. Aisha checked her list. Yes, she said, we are complete. They cleaned the tables. They stacked extra blankets. David carried the last bundle to the corner. The room was quiet and safe. The night watchman from the market walked in. He held a small bag of batteries. For the lanterns, he said. He turned to Aisha and smiled. Also a message for you. He tapped his cap. Check your scarf pocket when you are ready. Aisha felt the envelope again. Thin and light, but somehow important. The officer looked at her and nodded toward the door. The hall is close, he said. They are waiting. She took a breath. She took her clipboard. She took her scarf. They stepped into the evening air. The rain had stopped. The street shone like a clean mirror. As they reached the shelter office to sign out, someone knocked on the frame, a calm, firm knock. Aisha? A gentle voice called. There is someone at the hall who wishes to speak with you. She placed a hand over the envelope. Ready to open it, ready to hear what could change her next day. They reached the community hall before night. The lights were warm, the doors were open. Neighbors spoke in soft voices. Children sat on chairs and drew little suns on paper. A staff member saw them and waved. The head is waiting, she said. Aisha felt the envelope in her scarf. It was light, but it felt important. They walked to the front. The head of the ward stood by the microphone. His smile was calm and kind. Welcome back, he said. You helped the shelter. Thank you. The room gave a gentle clap. Not loud, not heavy, just steady and warm. Aisha looked at David. He nodded once, quiet and proud. The head turned to Aisha. There is a note for you, he said. Please open it here. Aisha took the envelope. Her hands were steady. She opened the flap and pulled out a small card. She read the first line in a low voice, then she looked up, surprised. It says, she told the room, Aisha, your simple help shows steady care. Would you like to work part-time at the Community Help Center? We need a calm voice at the front desk. We need clear hands to keep lists. We need your kindness. A soft cheer moved through the chairs. The officer smiled. The night watchman lifted his cap. David looked at Aisha with honest joy in his eyes. You already do this work, he said. Now it has a place and a name. The head gave her a second paper. This is from the family at the shelter, he said. Aisha read the short message. Your warm words made our child stop crying. Thank you for being calm when we were not. Her eyes grew wet. She pressed the paper to her scarf. She took a slow breath and found her smile again. Will you accept? The head asked. Aisha looked at the room, at the faces, the chairs, the drawings, at the simple banner that said, Thank you, helpers. She thought of the rainy night. The umbrella, the tea, the badge, the van, the list, the banana slice. She felt the path like small stones under safe feet. Yes, she said. I will do my best. The room clapped softly again. David stepped forward with the badge in its clear cover. This is safe now, he said. And so is our next step. The head shook David's hand. Your steady work helped many, he said. David only answered. We all helped. His words were simple and true. A volunteer brought a small table to the front. On it lay a clean scarf, a new notebook, and a simple name tag. Aisha, the tag read. She put on the tag. It felt light, it felt right. The night watchman spoke from the side aisle. Aisha, he said. I found this in the morning near the bus stop. He held up a tiny pin, a raindrop shape. Maybe this belongs with the story, he said. He placed it beside the notebook. Aisha smiled. It will remind me to listen when the rain speaks, she said. The head closed the gathering. Kind hands made safe roads, he said. Let us keep them open. People stood and talked in small circles. Aisha and David stepped outside. The air was clear. Puddles held bright pieces of sky. They walked slowly to the street. No rush, no storm, only evening light and the quiet city. Aisha held the new notebook close. She felt simple and brave again. David looked at the road ahead. If you ever need help, he said, I will come. Aisha nodded. And if you ever need tea, she answered, I will bring it. They laughed softly. They were not loud people, but their kindness carried far. Moral. Small care is not small. It travels from hand to hand. It makes a path through hard weather. It gives calm to a child. It gives work to a willing heart. It turns a rainy night into a brighter day. Choose simple kindness. It can change a life, and sometimes it can change many.